The last moments of a high school graduate were captured in a shaky video, sparking questions about his sudden disappearance. As the footage circulated and rescue teams searched for clues, speculation grew about why he had vanished. Friends and family anxiously awaited answers, hoping he would quickly be found, but they have only been left with uncertainty and worry. But what led up to his disappearance, you may ask? Stay tuned to find out. Welcome to our channel. This is Criminal Activities. At the age of 18 years old, Cameron Robbins stood at the cusp of adulthood, having just graduated from the University Laboratory School in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. A student in this school community for 13 years, he had earned the respect and admiration of his peers through his academic performance and athletic ability, particularly on the baseball field. Cameron's graduation day in May 2023 was marked with a welcome anticipation for the future, and he was unaware of the unfortunate incident that would soon unfold. Little did he realize that his positivity for the new chapter ahead would soon be replaced by the unfolding mystery of his disappearance. On May 24, 2023, Cameron was looking forward to celebrating his graduation by embarking on a trip to the Bahamas with a few fellow teenagers. Positioned just off Florida's coast, the Bahamas are a sought-after destination for American tourists, offering adventure, relaxation, and vibrant experiences. Arriving at the opulent Atlantis Hotel on Paradise Island in Nassau, excitement bubbled among the young travelers as they explored their exotic surroundings. After years of academic dedication, it was finally time to unwind and celebrate their accomplishments. As evening approached, some students arranged a sunset excursion on a pirate-themed boat. That evening, Cameron boarded the Blackbeard's Revenge with several other passengers. This ship was advertised as the sole pirate ship in the Bahamas, possessing 3 towering masts and a wooden frame. Available for private gatherings, the ship offered a full cash bar and catering services upon request. As the music kicked in and drinks were served, laughter and conversations filled the air as they departed from the mainland. Cameron joined in on the dancing and was enjoying the playful conversations with his friends. However, unbeknownst to him, this would mark his final departure from the mainland, as destiny had already sealed his tragic fate. As the sun descended and darkness fell upon the ocean, the weather began to grow colder. Most of those on board were in their swimsuits, but the warmth of alcohol kept the partygoers relaxed aboard what could be called a booze cruise. With loud music blaring, the sounds of the sea were drowned out, leaving the passengers unaware of the potential dangers of the vast ocean below. As the conversations shifted to teasing, someone threw down a challenge for Cameron to jump off the boat. It was an intimidating jump into the depths below, with the towering sides of the vessel multiple feet above the dark waters. Cameron stood on the very edge of the ship, and his friends reached out to pull him back, alarmed by his drunken recklessness. Yet fueled by confidence and a sense of invincibility, he remained undiscouraged. Likely convinced that he could execute the jump swiftly and return to the surface in moments, Cameron embraced the challenge. Breaking free from his friend's grip amidst cheers from onlookers, he dashed back to the edge of the boat and, dressed in nothing but swimming shorts, launched himself into the dark waters below. Amidst all the excitement, one of his friends captured the daring leap on their phone. At around 9:40 p.m., amidst the shadows of Montague Bay off Atoll Island in the Bahamas, he took the plunge, mere hours after boarding the vessel, apparently oblivious to the danger he was in.
This kid jumped off! Oh my God! Oh! Oh, bye-bye! Oh, that's it! Hey, the buoy!
As Cameron hit the water, the crowd of onlookers rushed to the side of the boat. Surrounded by darkness, Cameron found himself in a disturbing loneliness. However, his isolation was short-lived as something threatening appeared to circle him in the water. Cameron's distress was obvious, and a friend tossed him a life ring in a desperate attempt to help him. Ignoring the life-saving buoy, Cameron instead swam in the opposite direction, his perception likely distracted by the ominous presence prowling beneath the surface and his possible intoxication. Urgent shouts from his friends on board to grab the buoy fell on deaf ears as fear seized him, driving him to a desperate attempt to evade the unseen threat closing in on him. In the footage, you can see Cameron in the water, his nervous movements telling a growing sense of unease. Amidst the fading cheers, a voice called out, "Bye-bye," as Cameron drifted further from the vessel. Suddenly, he disappeared into the darkness, leaving his friends on board in a state of panicked confusion. Within moments of him jumping overboard, he vanished from their sight completely. Could he have been dragged beneath the surface by some unseen force? Despite their frantic calls, there was no response, and no further sign of Cameron's presence. To this day, his disappearance is a chilling mystery that defies explanation. The mother of Cameron said, "This was a booze cruise and they were on their way back when this happened. My son texted me when it happened saying, 'Cameron jumped off. They can't find him.'" Around 11:30 that night, the boat reached Athol Island that lies less than a mile east of Paradise Island, and it began to turn around and head back to the mainland. The Royal Bahamas Defense Force contacted the U.S. Coast Guard District 7 and informed them of Cameron's fall overboard, as per the Coast Guard statement. A coordinated search effort was swiftly initiated to locate the missing teenager. Despite adverse weather conditions, the vessel remained deployed until the early hours of the morning, tirelessly searching the area for any sign of Cameron. His mother expressed her distress by stating, "They were out there until 2-3 in the morning. It was terrible weather that night. The kids were cold, wet, and traumatized. The girls were in bikinis and bathing suits. The guys were giving them their shirts. It was a bad time to bring drunk 18-year-olds out into waters near this island where there's nothing." As daylight broke the following day, an extensive search mission launched for Cameron. Was he possibly washed ashore? The Royal Bahamas Defense Force organized the search efforts, collaborating with the U.S. Coast Guard to deploy air crews and use strategic search patterns. Both boats and aircraft were dispatched to search a vast area of ocean spanning hundreds of miles. Cameron's parents rushed to the Bahamas to aid in the search operation to retrace his final moments. Speaking to WBRZ, Brian Trasher, Vice President of the United Cajun Navy, remarked, "Had they found like maybe a piece of clothing or any kind of clue, that would cause them to extend that 48-hour period. But if they don't get any kind of indication, then that's usually when they call it off." He continued by saying, "It took a lot of strength for them to go out there and stay for a few days. When we offered to take them out in a boat to the area where he went overboard, in some of the area they were searching, they went, which I know had to be very emotional for them, but they went, and by Sunday they decided they wanted to go home." Lieutenant Commander Matthew Spado, Coast Guard liaison officer to the Bahamas, said in the statement, "We were informed by the RBDF this evening that they were suspending the active search efforts pending further developments and were not requesting further Coast Guard assistance after notifying the Robbins family. We offer our sincerest condolences to Cameron Robbins' family and friends." Following an extensive search covering over 325 square miles, Coast Guard crews, in conjunction with the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, concluded their efforts on May 27th. Raymond King of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force announced the conclusion of efforts, citing the region's alarming shark population. He noted, "I can tell you that area where an individual reportedly jumped over, it's an area that is really shark-infested as well." While he added that he didn't want the family to lose hope, he admitted, "The probability of survival decreases significantly, particularly if a person did not have on a life vest, and particularly if a person is perceived to be intoxicated." Given the harsh conditions and the absence of a life jacket, it was deemed highly improbable for Cameron to have survived for more than 2 days at sea, especially in waters known to be infested with sharks. A shark expert later told the Mirror that it was possible that Cameron may have encountered a shark, based on the footage. As Cameron leaped into the water, the camera captured a startling scene. An agitated figure appeared nearby as Cameron treaded water. The possible outline of a shark emerged just a few feet away, breaking the surface right in front of Cameron. Its approach and sudden retreat were captured in a split second. But Cameron may have already spotted the imminent danger, and he began swimming in the opposite direction. However, a moment later, it seems he was entangled by something unseen, dragging him beneath the water's surface. Kevin McMurray, who runs a website which collects information on shark attacks, said, "What I think happened is, he got in the water and he was swimming around. The shark, for some reason, or whatever it is, I'm not for sure saying it is a shark, but it looks a lot like a shark. Essentially, it comes and surfaces, and there's a life ring out to his right." Concerning Cameron's fate, McMurray suggested that if a shark attack did indeed happen, it would probably involve a single bite, with Cameron succumbing to exposure or sinking thereafter. While there might be remains of his body, McMurray emphasized the formidable challenge of recovering them due to the wide search area and strong currents. He stated, "Recovering Cameron's remains would be nearly impossible. Something like that, you're talking about a massive search area with currents and all that. Certainly, it's important to respect the sensitivity of those involved in stories like this." The family honored their beloved grandson, son, brother, and friend through online tributes. Cameron, who was adopted shortly after birth, was described as a prolific athlete. He participated passionately in various sports and church leagues. Baseball held a special place in his heart, and despite facing numerous injuries, including separated shoulders and broken hands, he remained resilient on the field. Cameron aspired to pursue his baseball career at the collegiate level. Continuing to reflect on Cameron's diverse interests, including his passion for food, his family shared, "Though he left this world far too soon, he lived a life full of good friends and family. He was funny and kind-hearted, but also intense and driven. He doted on his grandparents, and he took pride in his work. He will be missed desperately by his family and friends, who will carry their cherished memories of him to eternity." Despite the end of search efforts, the U.S. Coast Guard urges individuals with any new information to reach out to District 7 Watch Standers. Contact details can be found in the description box below. Additionally, a GoFundMe campaign has been created to support Cameron's family as they navigate the challenges following this tragic incident. Let this story be a reminder to please think twice before taking a dare, especially if intoxicated. You won't have anything left to prove if you're dead. But I want to know your opinion on this incident. I'd love to hear from you in the comments section. This is Criminal Activities signing off. Stay safe out there.